Most people spend their whole lives chasing money, but never learn the simple truth that could have made them rich and happy. Want to know what it is? All right, let's really dig into this because I think a lot of us have been there. You know, you're deep in the 9-to-5 grind. The bills just keep coming, feels like a personal attack sometimes, and you're just constantly dreaming of, financial freedom.
Right, that escape hatch.
Exactly. And we tell ourselves, if I just work harder, put in more hours, maybe get that next promotion.
Yeah, then it'll all click.
Right, then everything will be fine. But what if that whole idea, that conventional wisdom, is actually kind of distracting? What if working harder at your job isn't the real secret? What if the true path to getting both the money and, inner peace is actually working harder on yourself?
Yeah.
It sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? Counterintuitive almost.
It absolutely does. But, this seemingly simple idea, it has genuinely changed millions of lives. And our deep dive today, it's inspired by the profound but incredibly practical wisdom of Jim Rohn.
Jim Rohn, a legend in self-development.
Truly, often called one of the greatest self-development mentors ever. He had this knack for boiling down complex life stuff into clear, actionable truths. He didn't just tell you what to do, he explained why it mattered, and how it all connected.
Okay.
So in this session, we're going to break down his core teachings, how personal growth ties directly to your bank account and your happiness. We'll explore why so many people miss this link.
Yeah, why did they miss it?
We'll get into that. And crucially, we'll pinpoint those small, tiny actions that can actually shift you from just scraping by paycheck to paycheck to feeling genuinely free.
That first concept, though, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Wow, that really hits different, doesn't it? It goes against everything we're taught.
It totally does.
Grind culture, climb the ladder, get the raise. That's the drumbeat we hear constantly. So Ron comes along and says, basically, rethink all that.
Exactly. He completely flips the script. His core principle was your income rarely exceeds your personal development.
Okay, unpack that. What does that really mean?
It's not about logging more hours. It's about becoming more valuable. See, the market doesn't really pay for your time, not directly. It pays for the value you bring.
The value, like solving problems,
Yeah.
skills.
Yes. Solutions, unique skills, your judgment, your resilience, how you handle pressure, how you communicate, all that stuff. Personal development isn't just learning software, it's growing your character, your mindset.
Right.
Think about two people doing the same job. One just shows up, does the minimum, kind of coasts.
We all know that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one, they're constantly investing in themselves, reading, learning new things, taking courses, asking for feedback, maybe even mentoring someone.
Right.
They're building their problem-solving skills, staying positive. Now, who do you think gets noticed for leadership? Who gets the better offers? Who negotiates a higher salary down the line?
The second person, obviously.
Obviously. It's not magic. It's that unseen, deliberate personal growth paying off.
It's like you're building this internal engine, this capacity. And Ron had that great analogy, didn't he, about the tree?
Yes, the tree. Brilliant metaphor. He said, picture your life like a tree. The roots, those are the unseen parts.
Like discipline, mindset.
Exactly. Your discipline, mindset, daily habits, your knowledge, all the foundational work you do on yourself, hidden underground.
Okay, and the fruit.
The fruit, that's the stuff people see. The money, the house, the fancy car, the job title, all those visible markers of success.
Right, stuff we chase.
But here's the mistake most people make, according to Ron. We spend all our energy trying to polish the fruit.
Polishing the fruit, I like that. Obsessing over the outside.
Yeah, focusing on the external look, the Instagram moments, what others see, but all the while, we're neglecting the roots.
We ignore the foundation.
Completely, and then we act surprised when the fruit starts to, wither or even rot.
Because the roots weren't strong enough to support it.
Precisely. It's a really direct challenge, isn't it? So let me ask you, listening right now, how strong are your roots?
Ooh, good question.
Are you actively feeding your mind every day? With good stuff, challenging ideas, things that make you think? Or are you mostly just feeding your social media feed, passively scrolling?
Uh-oh. Guilty as charged sometimes.
We all are. But the uncomfortable truth Ron laid out is, if you neglect those roots, if you stop growing internally, that visible success, it might show up for a bit, but it won't last.
It's not sustainable.
It just isn't. The foundation isn't there.
Okay, so building those roots, that takes time. Which brings me to something we really need to tackle head on. This myth. The idea of Overnight success.
Oh yeah, let's bust that one right now.
Please do, because it messes with people's heads.
Totally. There is no such thing as overnight success, period. When we see someone suddenly blow up, what we're usually seeing is just the final reveal.
The tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. It's the result of years, sometimes decades, of small, kind of boring, unsexy steps nobody ever saw. Ron put it so simply. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day.
Simple disciplines, practiced every day.
Think about it practically. Want to save more money? It's not winning the lottery. It's the daily discipline of tracking where your money goes and setting some aside, consistently.
Boring, but effective.
Right. Want better health. It's not one crazy workout. It's doing, say, 20 push-ups today and tomorrow and the day after, even when you don't feel like it.
Even when it's raining, like you said.
Want to earn more? Don't wait for a miracle promotion. Dedicate yourself to learning one new valuable skill each week. Quietly apply it.
It's that planting seeds idea again, isn't it?
It is. At first, nothing seems to happen. Just you, the dirt, the seed. But you keep watering it. Oh, then slowly you see a little sprout, then a plant. Eventually you get the fruit.
And that's when people notice and say, wow, lucky.
Yeah, you're so lucky. They didn't see the daily grind, the quiet effort when no one was watching or cheering you on. It's compound effort. That's the real secret.
That perspective is so important, especially today, with social media making everything look instant. Which leads to another key distinction Ron made. We're bombarded with information, trends, noise.
Non-stop, TikTok, news feeds.
Yeah, it's so easy to just go with the flow, to follow. So Ron's question was, are you a follower or are you a student? What's the difference there?
This is huge for navigating life today. Ron was very clear. A follower just does what everyone else does, often without really thinking about it, just follows the crowd.
Okay.
A student, though, they operate differently. A student watches, sure, but then they think, they question things, they test ideas, and critically, they learn from what happens, their own results and others.
So more critical thinking.
Way more. Take like a hot investment trend, crypto maybe. A follower jumps in blind because their friends are doing it, or some influencer hyped it up.
FOMO, fear of missing out?
Totally. But a student pauses. They ask, okay, what's the actual risk here? What's the underlying value? Who's really making money long term? And how? What's the big picture?
Not just the hype.
Right. And this applies everywhere. Career moves, relationships, health choices, even just your daily habits. It comes down to curiosity, humility, and never switching off your brain. Always be learning.
Always be a student.
Okay.
And if being a student is about learning, then the tool we need to apply that learning consistently, that's got to be discipline, right? Everyone wants motivation, that big rush.
Yeah, motivation gets all the press. But Ron argued something really interesting, that you don't really need motivation if you have discipline.
Tell me more.
He famously said, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Think about that. Discipline is the bridge. Motivation is like that awesome feeling after watching Rocky, you want to run upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
But discipline, that's getting up the next morning when it's cold and dark and actually going for the run, even when every part of you wants to stay in bed.
Doing it when you don't feel like it.
That's it. Discipline is reading for 15 minutes when you're tired and just want to scroll. Discipline is setting aside savings before you even think about buying that cool new thing.
Saying no to distractions.
Saying no to time wasters. And here's the cool part. Discipline is like a muscle.
The more you use it.
The stronger it gets. Every time you make that small, disciplined choice, you strengthen it. And then something amazing happens. You start to trust yourself.
Self-trust. That's powerful.
It really is. You carry yourself differently. You feel empowered because you know you can follow through. You're building something solid bit by bit.
Okay, so these ideas, work on yourself, be a student, build discipline, they seem pretty straightforward, logical even. So why doesn't everyone just do it? Why aren't more people living this way?
The million-dollar question.
According to Ron, the answer is just one word.
One powerful word, comfort.
Comfort. The enemy of growth.
In many ways, yes. It's the paradox, isn't it? We want to grow, we want better results, but oh, that comfy couch. The familiar routine, the easy way out. And those comfy excuses we tell ourselves, I'll start tomorrow, I'm too busy to read, just one more episode won't hurt.
We're experts at making excuses.
Aren't we? But Ron's point was stark. Your comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there.
Ouch, but true.
And he gave us this really tough choice. We must all suffer one of two pains. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret?
Discipline or regret? Choose your pain.
Exactly. And think about the weight, the pain of discipline. It's like grams, small daily efforts. Annoying sometimes, but manageable.
Okay.
But the pain of regret, that weighs tons. It's the heavy burden of what could have been, missed chances, unfulfilled potential. The what ifs that can haunt you later.
That really puts it in perspective. Discipline weighs grams, regret weighs tons.
So the question for everyone listening is, which pain are you choosing, really? Day by day.
Wow. Okay. And Ron had these great simple stories to make these big ideas stick, like the one about ants.
Oh, the ant story. It's so simple but so profound. And he'd just say, watch ants in the summer. What are they doing?
Gathering food like crazy, nonstop.
Nonstop. Why? Because they know, deep down in their ant brains, winter's coming. They have this instinct to prepare for the lean times.
So they don't need a calendar. They just know.
Right. Now, contrast that with us humans. We get a good paycheck. Things are going well. What do many of us do?
Spend it all. Live it up.
Pretty much. We forget that our own winters are inevitable. Job loss, illness, emergencies, just life happens. Retirement.
Winter always comes one way or another.
It always comes. So the lessons from the ant are super clear. Save when you're earning. Prepare when you're healthy. Build your foundation, your skills, savings, resilience when the sun is shining.
Don't wait for the storm to hit before you build a shelter.
Exactly. Be ready. Like the ant.
Such simple wisdom. Okay, building on that idea of preparing and thinking ahead, here's another Ron classic that always makes me stop and think. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Oof. Yeah, that one's a heavy hitter, isn't it?
It really makes you look around.
It forces you to.
Yeah.
Take a second. Seriously, everyone listening. Who are your 5? Think about the people you interact with most.
Are they lifting you up or pulling you down?
That's the core question. Are they complainers, gossips, people who hate their jobs and drag you into their negativity?
Yeah.
Or are they dreamers, readers, people actively investing in themselves, trying to grow, talking about ideas, possibilities?
Because energy is contagious, right?
Undeniably. Mindsets, habits, they rub off on you, whether you realize it or not. Ron had that other great line, if you want to fly, don't hang out with chickens.
Uh-huh. Find eagles instead.
Find eagles, learn from them, watch how they operate, understand how they think. That's how you learn to soar higher yourself. So who are you letting shape your flight path?
Okay, let's try and tie all this together, because what Ron is really showing us, it seems, is that getting rich and happy, it's not luck. It's not just being born into the right family.
Not at all. It's simpler and yet harder than that. If you pull all these threads together, the core message is clear. 1, work harder on you than your job.
Grow your skills, mind, network.
Exactly. 2, be a student, not just a follower. Stay curious, keep learning, keep questioning.
Think for yourself.
3, discipline is your bridge. Build it strong. It's non-negotiable for reaching your goals.
You gotta have that bridge.
4, plant those seeds every day. Small, consistent actions, water them. And 5, watch your roots. Nurture that inner foundation.
And the fruit will take care of itself.
The fruit takes care of itself. Look, this isn't some quick hack. It's not an overnight fix. It's a forever game, a lifelong practice.
But it works.
But it works. It's proven. And honestly, you'll just sleep better knowing you're building something real, something solid within yourself, not just chasing shadows.
So for anyone listening who's feeling stuck, frustrated, maybe wishing for more money, more happiness, what's the final takeaway?
Remember the core message. Don't just grind harder at your job. That's the default path. Instead, work harder on yourself. That's the secret.
That really is the secret. It's the truth Jim Rohn shared so powerfully is how the most fulfilled people live, and it's something you can start doing right now, today. And here's a final thought. Think about how consistently nurturing those roots, your inner self, doesn't just lead to more fruit, more external success. It also builds this incredible inner strength, this resilience. It makes you ready for any winter life throws at you. You actually become stronger, more capable, more self-reliant with every season you go through intentionally.
That's a powerful way to think about it. Okay, so now here's the challenge, just for you listening. What's one small habit? Just one tiny thing you can start today.
Make it actionable.
Right. Maybe it's picking up a book, even just for 10 minutes before bed. Or identifying one thing, just one you'll stop spending money on this week. Start flexing that savings muscle.
Or call a friend.
Yeah. Call a friend, but not to complain. Call them to bounce around some positive ideas. Remember, tiny steps, big change. If this deep dive into Jim Rohn's wisdom hit home for you, make sure you subscribe or follow the deep dive wherever you get your podcasts. We'll keep digging into essential insights like these in future sessions.